Once again, we have an aspirant of the PDP in Osun State, Honorable Kunle Bolarinde. Am I right to call
correct.
you honorable?
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, it's fair.
It's a pleasure having you on Sahara TV, sir.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine.
Well, as the election season is fast approaching and a lot of rhetorics are coming from different candidates, and we'd like to get your perspective on what your party's blueprint is. But my first question to you is, are we better off 4 years? I mean, after 4 years.
Well, I think that's an obvious question. It's a question you can take to the streets and ask every common man on the streets that has your life been better off after 4 years? You can ask the market woman, you can ask the guy in the financial institution, you can ask the bankers, you can ask the goods sellers, you can ask from every angle of the economy. When you ask, the answer is obvious. From the outlook of things, we have retrogressed as a nation.
Where has the ruling APC failed Nigerians?
Well, to be honest with you, I think this was a party that came into power without the readiness of taking up the task of leadership. They never had the blueprints. They never had a good policy spelled out. They were never ready for the position of leadership. So they just wanted to win an election. They were not ready to lead the nation out of poverty. Then they were never ready to lead the nation out of lack. They were never ready to make policies that will help the outlook of the nation, even in international communities. So the APC government were never ready for leadership.
Now, how will your party draw people together, Nigerians together, towards the common good instead of pandering towards special interest groups?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think PDP has done, we are Africans, and from where I come from, we believe that you need to sample two opinions before you eventually you choose which one is better. I think Nigerian had a taste of what PDP had done from 1999 when we had actually taken at the inception of this present democracy, where we have helped, bring Nigeria from the cliff of falling off, you understand, into stability. And along the line for 16 years, PDP has done incredibly well in shaping our country. And we shouldn't forget at the same time that this is a young democracy. So we're prone to a lot of lapses here and there, which we are not going to deny, you understand. But the PDP as a party has always been better off when it comes to policy management, when it comes to economic management, when it comes to development and what have you. In leadership, you can give it to the PDP because we parade a lot of intelligent people and people who are neck deep into politicking and asset politicking leadership. You can give it to the PDP.
What happened in Osun by-election? I mean, why did PDP lose out?
The PDP never lost in Osun. There was a daylight robbery in Osun. There was no election. There was an election on the, I think was the first election, the major day of the election. There was an election, and the people of Osun decided who they wanted to lead them. The people of Osun went out en masse to vote for the candidacy of the PDP, Ademola Delegate Senator, but the APC conspired with the high neck to rob the people of Osun State a chance to have a break from pains and poverty after 7.5 years. The rerun election was a sham, was a daylight robbery, was an insult on the institution called HINEC. And it took us back, that very election took us back 30 years, took our democracy back 30 years. It's quite unfortunate that such can be perpetrated in Nigeria of today.
You're running for the State House of Assembly, you're an aspirant in that. How confident are you that you'll be able to win with all the shams and with all the machinery that APC may bring on board?
Yeah, for my aspiration, I think my party leadership have taken a decision. They have taken a decision few days ago because part of our party creed is that we always want to work out a seamless political environment, because the major reason why we are running is because we felt there's a need to change the status quo. You understand? So for that, I might be putting my ambition aside for some for some party reasons. But whoever will be flagging, I've not really said I wouldn't be running, but whoever will be flagging the PDP ticket already has a blueprint, because as a party we have a blueprint. For the past 4 years, we have been represented at the Osun State House of Assembly, Bolarinde constituency, by somebody who has no business being in the State House Assembly. He barely talks, he barely fights, he's not a vibrant speaker. He has never even spoken, as we have heard and as we have confirmed. He has never passed a bill, he has never sponsored one. All he does is highs and nays. And that is not what we need in this century, at these days and time.
Bolarinde constituency was one of the most controversial constituencies in the last election. Your party, talking about the blueprint your party had, and considering the crisis in Osun State, workers have not been paid for over 5 months, which is one of the major, setbacks for the APC government. What is your party doing? What are you going to put in place in order to ensure that there is a reversal of that trend where workers are being owed?
Okay, you see, I always say something like business of governance requires that you have some level of managerial skills. It's just like you becoming the CEO of an organization and you cannot pay salaries. You have no business in that organization. You shouldn't have recourse to public funds, to shareholders' funds. You understand? To pay salaries. If you had to do that as an organization, then you should sooner wind up the organization. So that's the same thing in Osun State right now. The incumbent governor, you understand, does not have what it takes to lead a state like Osun State. More so, what you call a civil servant state. Osun State has no industry. You can't really say this is a major industry in Osun State. They haven't done much in agriculture. They haven't done much in PPP, public-private partnership. They haven't done much in wealth creation in Osun State. They are just there taking funds from Osun State, remitting it to Lagos, and whatever it's left, do it the way they feel. They have brought up about a lot of policies that have dilapidated the economical environment of Osun, including our educational sector. They changed all school uniform into one common uniform just because you want to give a project to your family member. And you would ask yourself that how do you become more brilliant by the uniformity of school uniforms, or by the quality of information that is being impacted on our students? You build a school per local government at over $1 billion naira, while every other surrounding schools are totally dilapidated and in a state of it's quite unfortunate what we have to do in Osun State. So the PDP government, by special grace of God, when we win at the tribunal, will reverse all these unscrupulous policies of the present administration of Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, and we'll put all things in place. We get our ministries back to working lane, and we'll be able to pay salaries. People that work obviously deserve to be paid.
I agree with you. You seem to be confident that the PDP is going to win the tribunal.
It's obvious, sir. It's obvious. We have a lot of facts already. In fact, we have facts flying everywhere. We have facts on every Nigerian phones. We have places like Aida, where over 1,000 votes was deducted from our vote. We saw it was screening on national TVs already that we had about 10,000 something in Aida, and all of a sudden they had to reduce to 9,000. We have places like Olorunda where they added votes up for the APC. We have places like Osogbo where votes were added up. There were a lot of discrepancies in that election. And coming to the rerun election, you don't call that an election. An election where people who are loyal to the PDP were totally disenfranchised. You need to go up with a particular cap and a particular handkerchief for you to be able to access the polling booth. You will be either beaten up mercilessly, or we have a situation in Ife where one of our youth leaders was killed. So it's that terrible. So do you call that an election? It is not an election. I was in Oshogo. I monitored Oshogo myself. I couldn't get down from my car. I monitored Aleku Ward. I couldn't get down from my car because you need to see the boys that were there. You cannot go there with your PVC. They will beat you up. So immediately they identify that you are not going to be voting for APC. Is that an election? That was a daylight robbery. Even the international communities that came to observe said it was below expectation.
All right. Coming back to the general elections, what case will you make to Nigerians to consider your party in the general elections?
It's evident. The APC made the case already for themselves. The APC had laid the card bare. We need to, whatever you're doing, as a nation, as a leadership of a nation, you must first and foremost think of the ripple effect on the common man on the street. So if the common man on the street cannot afford to feed not even 3 square meals now, just 1 meal per day, if the common man on the street cannot afford to get fuel at reasonable price, the same thing you castigated the PDP government for, that there's nothing like subsidy. Yet we did our Shopee project, and we're still selling at 87 and later 97 naira. This same product is now being sold for 145 naira, and there's nothing, and we have no reinvestment program on ground. So where is the subsidy? The subsidy margin going to? So it's the card is there already. The APC had laid it bare. Everybody knows what would happen in 2019. We just ask that INEC should conduct a free and fair election. And if they fail to, Nigerians will stand by their votes.
Nigerians have been bedeviled with the hydra-headed crisis of corruption. I mean, in the last elections that brought in the APC government, they rode on the mantra that they were going to stamp out corruption. And in recent times, we've experienced wanton killings across certain sections of the country. What's your view on this? What's your party's position on this? What are you going to do differently?
We believe that killings is a despicable act, and we would never support it. And I believe that no reasonable Nigerian in their right sense would support killings. And I believe that all these things, most of these things still boils down to poverty, you understand, and lack of proper information in our society. We need to reorientate our people. We need to learn our acculturation, how we can begin to live together and exist, commune together as people. We need to begin to see ourselves as Nigerian, and we need to see ourselves as our brothers. We need to learn, we need to make policies that would allow the earthmen and the farmers to live together, and everybody knowing there's a boundary. We need to let the earthmen educate them enough to let them understand that, see, the herds are your livelihood. So has these crops are this guy's livelihood. You cannot drive your herds into a farm, you understand? And if possible, I believe that a reasonable government should be able to bridge the gap. And if we educate our people, and that is one of the what we expect a national orientation agencies to be doing, but we haven't been hearing much from them. You understand? These are part of what they should be able to do to reorientate people in a way that we can begin to see ourselves as brothers. After 58 years, I think we can't just be. We don't have a choice than to become one.
I can agree with you. How is your party reaching out to individual citizens to be agents of change within a political system that has failed to serve the populace?
Well, our party, the PDP, has in recent time embarked on different kind of campaigns, including the door-to-door campaign. You understand? We have let our people understand that, see, this is the reality on the ground. We are not coming to you now with debate. We are coming now to you with reality. We are coming now to you, now with doing a comparison game. That, okay, fine, this is what you had in the last 4 years. This is what you have at hand now. Which would you rather go for? You understand? We are trying to sensitize our people that, see, you need to participate in politics. You need to be active in politics, because you don't just wait until the general elections when you had to vote for whoever has been brought out. You need to be part of the system that brings about the candidate of each party.
Finally, if there was one piece of advice that you are going to give to Nigerian youths at this point in time, what would that advice be?
Well, my advice to Nigerian youth is, number one, in a changing economy like Nigeria, we need to arm ourselves with information. Information is key. Information, basically, you need to get yourself educated. And aside education, you need to get a skill. You need to learn a skill and you need to get informed. And I also like to advise our Nigerian youth not to be agents of throwing about fake news on social media. Most of this news had made a lot of people lose their lives, and a lot of things had been destroyed as a result of that.
Mr. Honorable Kunle Bolarinde, thank you very much.
Call me Mr. Please.
I like that. Thank you very much for coming on our program.
All right, the pleasure is mine. Thanks so much.